I just feel like this is karma at its finest with the whole Deshaun Watson guaranteed contract saga and just him coming back into the NFL in general after what he was involved off the field. I'm not going to get into that part of it at all. I'm just going to focus on the actual contract itself and him as a football player. Various beat reporters have been around the Cleveland Browns training camp, such as Diana Rossini. I think she's great. I think she's really knowledgeable and experienced, and I really trust her opinion on a lot of certain NFL topics. And she was recently asked, who do you think, out of all the camps you've been at the past 2 months, which team do you think is going to have a poor 2024 year? And, she's been at every camp so far. The Patriots, the Panthers, pretty much all of them, man. And she answered that question with the Cleveland Browns. I just think it really is set up perfectly to make that come true. You still got the bell cow of that team, the heart and soul of that team, and Nick Chubb. And he's starting the year off hurt, and he's not going to be ready to go until, who knows? Nobody really knows at this point, even though he did post that squatting 500 pounds vid like a month ago, even though he's not fully healthy. I don't really get that, but fair play to him. But yeah, man, like when your best player offensively, the guy who's been around for the run that Baker had and him kind of reviving that franchise with that playoff win against the Steelers, he's the only guy that's still around from that era and, still a hell of a back. And for him to not potentially play this year is kind of a rough start. The reason why I wanted to make this video is just I feel like it's just the ultimate foreshadow for a lot of things. There's a lot of smoke right now with the Browns, and Deshaun Watson was supposed to play in the preseason finale with the Browns, but he's not anymore due to arm soreness. So, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Since signing that ridiculous guaranteed contract with the Browns, I feel like Deshaun Watson has basically been a walking full body cast. Just injury after injury after injury. And so far, with all the time he's spent with the Browns, I feel like he's only had one good game, and that was on the road versus the Ravens last year when he looked pretty good, but that's one game out of 2-3 years now, and I don't know, man. What a disaster it's been. And not only that, but arguably their second best player, or maybe their best player offensively, Amari Cooper. About a month ago, there was trade talks about Amari Cooper being traded to the Niners for Ayuk, and Amari Cooper posted this cryptic IG story of him saying, "I wouldn't mind that at all." So when your first two players are essentially checked out more or less, or one half of them doesn't even want to be a Brown, I don't know, man. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I just feel like there's a lot of smoke here. I really, really do. And I think it's karma. It's karma to the entire Browns organization for handing out that ridiculously large guaranteed cash contract to Deshaun Watson 3 years ago after what came out off the field. I mean, the number was 22 lawsuits. It wasn't 2, it wasn't 3, it was 22. So the fact that they did that, I just still can't believe 3 years later. Just unheard of stuff. But the way they did it too, Again, Baker Mayfield really revived that franchise. Baker Mayfield brought a playoff win against a division rival. What, their first playoff win in like 20 plus years? I don't know, man, but without Baker, where are the Browns right now? Like, Baker really put the Browns back on the map, and they dumped him for Deshaun Watson. It just shows the character from the top to the bottom of that franchise, of that organization. Just really pathetic and low, and I just feel like it's going to finally catch up to them this year. And who knows? Maybe Deshaun Watson will all of a sudden be comeback player of the year and completely turn it on and have one hell of a year. It's possible for sure, but without Nick Chubb, I don't know, man. I know that defense isn't bad. I know Njoku, Amari Cooper are still there. You got Jerry Jeudy, but does anybody believe in Deshaun Watson? Anybody at all? And, the team rallied around Joe Flacco for a reason last year. I just don't buy Deshaun Watson being a good leader. I don't buy him being well-liked. Just as a person individually and ultimately in a locker room, in a team environment, I just don't buy it. Honestly, I would put this as one of the worst contracts in NFL history, but Russell Wilson's contract that he signed with the Broncos was probably the worst. I don't have the numbers on me right now, but would imagine that they're slightly higher than Deshaun Watson's, and at least Deshaun Watson is still with the Browns compared to Russell Wilson. So I can't say that Deshaun Watson is the worst contract in NFL history, but it's definitely top 5. So let me know what y'all think. Do you think Deshaun Watson will have a good year? Do you think he'll bounce back? Or do you think he's just going to replicate what he's done so far with the Browns? Just a robbery, a thief in the night, just collecting those guarantee checks bi-weekly. Shout out to his agent, whoever finessed that deal 3 years ago, because, man. And in a way, it's a match made in heaven. I know, the Browns weren't the only team interested in Deshaun Watson. I know the Saints were heavily interested in him too, also the Falcons, but, those two franchises have shown incompetence too, like the whole Saints and the Catholic priest things a couple years ago. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. And the fact that they have Derek Carr and Dennis Allen as their head coach should speak for itself. And then for the Falcons, Michael Penix, Kirk Cousins, situation has been completely bizarre. So I don't know, man. I just feel like the Browns, Deshaun Watson, in the end, they really deserve each other. So let me know what y'all think. I think the Browns are going to be terrible this year, and I feel like they deserve to be. Let me know what y'all think. That's all I got for right now. Peace.
Found themselves in good position the last time they had the ball, but chose to go for it on 4th down instead of bringing out the field goal unit. And that proved to be costly.
Yeah, Nick Perry has the sack.
It is truly a bonus when you can take your outside linebacker and let him rush the quarterback and he can get a sack. Nice job that time by the outside linebacker.
From the shotgun. Donnell with the reception. The Rams decked out in a lot of pink, and we see pink throughout the building. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month in the NFL.